morning.
December 5th, 2010, the announcement from former ICC Chief Prosecutor Luis Moreno Ocampo listing what would come to be known as the Ocampo 6. The Ocampo 6 would then become the Bensouda 3. But a case 2 would only have President Uhuru Kenyatta long before his presidency. The ICC prosecutor would, as at the date of this interview, April 2nd, 2013, maintain she had enough evidence to prosecute Kenyatta.
We will continue to present the evidence that we have. We have argued repeatedly that the evidence that we have against Mr. Kenyatta is much more than we had against Mr. Muthaura.
There would then be efforts to pull out of the Rome Statute as a means to have the Kenyan indictees tried locally instead. Parliament would endorse a motion in 2012 and the 10th Parliament would endorse it in late 2013.
Yes, we can withdraw, and that should be now, immediately, and that should be a lesson not only to Kenyans but for the whole of Africa and the oppressed part of the globe.
Let us not allow ourselves to sell ourselves wholesale to the international community like people who have no dignity, people who cannot do their own things.
The ICC is a colonial imperialist court.
A shuttle diplomacy soon followed to rally support from the African continent and relevant parties the world over. President Kenyatta himself would visit several African leaders to amass support for the pullout. Foreign Affairs Secretary Amina Mohamed leading a delegation to the UN Security Council in New York in November last year, but the bid stood rejected. Kenya turned to the African Union Summit meeting in Addis Ababa, and the support would see African heads of state resolve that no sitting head of state or government should stand a trial during their term.
The intention was to avoid any kind of impunity and so ill governance and the crime, but now the process has degenerated into some kind of race hunting.
Then came the witnesses in the Kenyatta case who pulled out one by one. The crumbling list of witnesses would take a huge toll on Bensouda's body of evidence, so much so that in October this year, Bensouda would lay bare exactly what evidence she had against Kenyatta and what she needed to move forward.
The case is at a critical juncture.
But the failed start of Kenyatta's trial would see Bensouda now backed into a corner with a week's ultimatum given Wednesday by the judges to either drop the charges or declare whether she had enough evidence to prosecute him. And come Friday, Bensouda would concede, ending the 4-year journey that has seen her and her predecessor try to prosecute Kenyatta for crimes against humanity. Jackie Maribe, Citizen Weekend.